Hello, and we are in Chapter 1, Lesson 1 of 4th grade math. And we're going to start out with place value. And I know this is going to be some review, but it's a really important foundation to a lot of the activities we're going to be doing throughout the year. So it's important to really make sure that you understand this as we move through, and it'll continue to be important in all of the activities we do with multiplication, division, and all the lessons we continue on through the year. So it may seem fairly basic, but it is very important. So our essential question, how does place value help represent the value of numbers? And it says a digit is any symbol used to write a whole number. The value given to a digit by its place in a number is called place value. A place value chart shows the value of the digits in a number. And here we have a place value chart that shows different things. So each one of these boxes here represents a digit. We've got 2 0 digits. We've got a digit 8 and another digit 8. We've got a digit 4 and a digit 1. Now the place value is where it is. So this is the 1's place value, the 10's place value, the 100's place value, the 1,000's place value, the 10,000 place value, and the 100,000 place value. So that place value chart will help us in many activities, and it's always good to refer back to. Also, I want to note it doesn't talk about that here, but the period. So each group of 3 place values forms a period, the ones, the thousands, and so on as we move through up to millions, as in other lessons. I don't want to get too far ahead of it. So those periods are the groups of 3 numbers that we usually put a comma to separate. Okay. Example 1. The average pencil can draw a line that is almost 184,800 feet long. What is the value of the highlighted digit? So if you can't see, this digit here is the one that's highlighted. And they place this number into the place value chart to figure out its value. And they're not talking about this 8, they're talking about this 8. And as you can see from the blue boxes that they've written, this is the 10,000 place. So you can write it 80,000. So you would basically write this digit, the 8, and you would change all of these to zeros. So 0, 0, 0, 0, 4 zeros after it, and you drop the other numbers to the left because we're just talking about the value of this digit. Another way to write it is to write it 8 times 10,000, and this is basically the digit times the place value. It'll always be, you'll notice it'll always be a 1 and then whatever place value it is. For these multiplication ones, whatever the digit is times the place value. The highlighted digit 8 is in the 10,000 place. So its value is written right here, 80,000. And as you can see when I turn the answers on, the highlighted digit 8 is in the 10,000th place, so its value is 80,000. A digit in each place represents 10 times what it represents in this place. It's right. So a 10,000 is 10 times greater than a 1,000. A 1,000 is 10 times greater than 100. 100 is 10 times greater than a 10. And 10 is 10 times greater than a 1. That's what that's saying right here. When 8 is in the 10,000th place, it has a value of 80,000. If 8 were in the 100,000th place, it would have a value of 10 times 80,000 or 800,000. So if we were to, basically what that sentence is saying is if we were to move it up 1 place value and make it here, it would be worth 10 times as much. So 10 times 80,000 or 800,000. That's what that's saying. Okay, we've got example 2. Now we're going out to the millions period. So we've got our ones period, thousands, and millions. And you'll see that there are 2 commas in our place value chart. Okay, there are 2,419,200 seconds in 4 weeks. How does the value of the digit in the hundredths place change if this digit were to move to each of the 4 places to its left? So the digit in the hundredths place is right here. Okay, so I've circled the place value that the problem is asking about, hundredths place. And then it says if this were to move to each of the 4 places to its left. So I did sort of a flashing mark there to show these are the 4 places that we're moving this digit to see how it would change. The digit in the hundredths place is, what digit is that? That's this thing right here. It has a value of, and remember if you forget how to find the value, you can go back and look at example number 1. There's 2 options, and either one of those would be acceptable. Now, if this were to move, and this is what this question is asking, if this digit were to move to the thousandths place, so if we were to take this and put it here in the 1,000th place, what would its new value be? And remember in the other, I'm going to go back for a second and look. Remember down here in the other page, on page 11, it was saying when the 8 is in the 10,000th place, it has a value of 80,000. If the 8 were to move to the 100,000th place, it would have a value of 10 times 80,000 or 100,000. So that's saying the same thing as what we're doing on the next problem. If we were to move this from here to here, it would have a value that's 10 times greater. And basically what they've done is they've added a 0. So that's how, when we move the place values up, which is exactly what it's asking us to do here. If this were to move up here, and then keep in mind you're not going to have the 9 anymore, so you're not adding anything. You're just disregarding this 9 and moving this 2 to that spot. So what would change? You have the value where it is. How's it going to change if it moves to the thousandth place? And again, how's it going to change if you move it again up to the 10,000th place? How's it going to change when you move it to this one? And the last one you have to do is how's it going to change when you move it to the millionth place, which is what it's asking. If you move it to the millionth place, it would have a value of. The digit in each place has a value that is 10 times as great as it has in its place to its right. Please pause the video and fill in those. And remember, if you're stuck, please go back and look at page 11. It shows you these. You can use the blue boxes if they help you, or you can use the text that it has here. But please fill in those before you continue with the video so you can practice this. Okay, now hopefully you've got your answers in these sections. The digit in the hundredths place is 2. In the hundredths place position, place value, it has a value of 200. If we move it here, it becomes 2,000. If we move it to the 10,000, it has a value of 20,000. If we move it to the 100,000 place value, it has a value of 200,000. And if we have, well, we do have a 2 in the millions area, it has a value of 2 million. So these are the correct answers for example number 2. Hopefully you got those on your own and you're able to give yourself some stars as you're correcting with your pen. And remember, since we are correcting the work, when you are correcting, always use your pen. Give yourself a star with your pen if you've got it right. And if you do not have it correct, do not erase it with your pencil. Write it correctly with your pen to help remind you, I need to work on this, this is the correct answer. And when we're reviewing books, we can go over the ones that you had difficulty and help you understand it better. Because remember, book work is not graded like a test. This is your opportunity to check your work and learn from your mistakes and not have to worry about your grades suffering. It's just effort for classwork, and your test will be where you're graded for accuracy. If you're just changing answers, nobody's going to know what you're having difficulty with, and we won't be able to help you fix those things. Okay, so we are starting Once you've checked your work there, you can start the guided practice, circle the correct place of the highlighted digit and write its value. So you're going to circle whether it's in the ones or tens, whether it's in the 10,000 or 1,000. It may help to, when you're doing these, line across here so you don't get mixed up. It's not one of those crisscross things. This is all for problem number 1. You're choosing whether it's here or here. And then you're writing the value. You can either write it as the digit times the place value or combine it together to be the individual number. And the same thing for number 2. You're just reading across, choosing between these two, which place it's in, and the value of the number. Please do these. Okay, and as you move on to page 13 in your book, you'll start your independent practice, which we will correct together later. So the first 3 problems are just like the guided practice that was on the other page. So you're choosing one of these 2, and then you're writing the value of the highlighted digit in the last line here. So there's 2 parts of each of these problems. Make sure you do those. And moving down, they're talking about this place value chart for number 8 through 16. So this will be a reference for all of these questions. And sometimes you can get away with writing a number. Sometimes you have to write out some words, depending on what the question is asking you. So read the question and figure out what best fills in this blank. The 6 is in the, now see here, you're not going to really, it's beneficial for you to write the word form for it. You can write the number, but it can be confusing. So if it's asking you the place value, you're probably going to write the word. Here, the blank is in the thousands place. You can write the word form of that number, or you can write the number. It's fine. Number 10, 11, it's asking you, remember those problems on the first page when you go back. I just went back to page 11 to show you this example here. In the blue boxes, it has the digit, it has its value, and then it has the digit times the place value. Here we've got 8 in the 10,000 place, so they've got 8 times 10,000. Here they've got 8 in the hundreds place, so they've got 8 times 100. That's going to help you do the problems that on that independent practice. Let me go back to it. So when you're doing number 10, 11, the 7 has a value of 7 times the place value. So the 7 is here. The place value is what you're going to do. And this, you can't write a word, just write the number. Same thing here. 6 has a value of 6 times the place value. This one is starting to get a little bit more tricky because they've given you 2 blanks. But you can figure it out. The blank has a value of what times 100,000. So this here tells me where I'm looking in my place value chart. I'm looking in the 100,000 place, which is 100,000 all the way up here. Okay. So now, knowing that you're talking about this spot in the number chart, the what has a value of what times 100,000. So you're going to need numbers for these. And what is in the hundredths place? This is similar. What digit is in the hundredths place on this chart? Okay. We'll work on those. And remember, do these with your pencil until it's time to correct, then we will correct with pens. Okay, page 14 has the problem solving. And one of the things I always recommend is do at least one of the problem solving. If you're running out of time, skip ahead and get some problem solving practice on every single lesson because it's very important and it's a big part of the testing throughout the year and the testing we do in spring. So always get at least a little bit of this done. If you want to start the problem solving and work backwards, that's fine. The order that you do the problems doesn't matter as much as you at least get some examples of each type of problem. That's the most important thing when you're doing your independent work. Okay, So number 17, an African elephant can weigh up to 14,432 pounds. What is the value of the highlighted digit? So you're not rewriting this number. You're just taking the digit that's highlighted and writing that as its own number here. So please write that one. Now you've got number 18, which is kind of tricky. You've got a lot of steps in this. Use the clues below to find the distance in miles from Earth to the moon. Write the number in the place value chart. So you're taking each of these clues. The greatest value is the 100,000. So that means you're going all the way up to this. You're filling in a digit every box of this place value chart. Okay, the digit in the 10th place is 5, so that you can just go straight to the chart and fill in. And it tells you the remaining digits of 2, 3, 8, and 7. So we can use this information, but we can't fill in any boxes quite yet, like we did for this. One of the digits has a value of 30,000. Oh, so that tells me my 3 is going to be in what place value. So see, you can work through this with all these clues in order to figure out what digit goes in what place value box. So read through these clues, and sometimes you have to read it through a couple times. I often have to read through. I am not the math genius, so sometimes I have to read through it a couple times. That's not saying you're stupid. It's just saying you're being careful and thorough and with your work. So use these clues. What is the distance from Earth to the moon? You're going to write a complete sentence answer here because that is an important part of checking your understanding in your work. You're going to write the distance from Earth to the moon is the number that you've created in your place value chart. Please make sure you do that on this line. If you need more room, you can draw another line underneath in your workbook. I will not give credit on tests for problems that do not have complete sentence answers, so it's good practice to do it now. Write a 6-digit number that has a 9 in the hundredths place and a 6 in the 100,000th place. They've got some options there. There are many possibilities to be correct. The only thing you have to have is the 9 in the hundredths place and a 6 in the 100,000th place. Okay? And how does moving the place of a digit change its value? Go back and look at page 11 if you need some help and support in answering that one. And we will correct this at a later date. Please make sure you're doing your work in pencil. Please make sure you've got some of these word problems done. And thank you for all your hard work.